Football on Off the Ball.
With William Hill, you can boost your winnings on the Sunday game with new Bet Builder Extra. Only with William Hill. Download the app today. 18 plus gamblingcare.ie.
This is News Talk.
You're welcome back. Now, I'm delighted to say that we're joined by Julianne Russell, who announced her retirement from football just last week. So we're talking 24 years in the game, 66 senior caps for Ireland, and a pair of Women's Premier Division Player of the Year awards as well in there. Julianne, thanks so much for making the time for us. How are you keeping?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So this is not just an international retirement, as some people might have expected when they first saw the announcement last week. You're not someone to do it in halves, basically. You're hanging up the boots, full stop.
Yeah, look, it's obviously a massive call. A lot of people, at the start when they were reading it saying, I thought it was just international. But no, it's the full boots are being hung up both internationally and with club.
What was the biggest reason behind coming to that eventuality?
Look, there was various different reasons kind of all added together. I'm not getting any younger, and I want to have more children, and also kind of playing at that highest level while holding down a full-time job and being a parent and whatnot. Probably not as feasible to continue on for a couple of more years while everyone else is playing professionally and only playing football. So, there was lots of various different reasons. But look, I think just the timing was right for me and my family, and it just felt like it was the right time for me.
It feels like as well you go out at close to the top of the game. I mean, 2024 was a hell of a year for you, Julianne. And on top of that, as I mentioned, the pair of Women's Premier Division Player of the Year awards, they're 10 years apart, and the second of those was last year as well. You must have looked around and said to yourself, geez, not too many sports people actually have the opportunity to go out like I have the opportunity to do now.
Yeah, absolutely. I have said it to a few people now. It's really nice to end on a high, and after such an amazing 2024, and just to end it on my terms as well. Sometimes we see a lot of sports stars kind of dwindle off and might hold some resentment then against the sport. So for me, it's just with massive pride that I'm able to do that, and I'm just very grateful for my full career, but super happy to just end it on the high that I had in 2024.
For sure. There's just a couple of clips that we want to play for you, Julianne. Your brother was speaking to our own Nathan Murphy earlier on. It was the launch of the new League of Ireland season, so let's play a brief clip of John Russell speaking here.
How did both of you end up in so good at football?
Playing on the street and playing in the house with my dad. Julie, because I didn't have a younger brother, she always tagged along with me, even going around to the back of the estate and stuff. So I always had a ball at her feet, and it was great that she had the career she had.
That's just a brief section of the conversation about you. But tagging along with your brother, Julianne, that was obviously the key to your level of success.
Absolutely. I was the ultimate tomboy growing up, I can confirm. But it definitely, to be honest, I learned so much from John growing up, and still to this day, as people are aware, he was a very successful footballer himself, and obviously now in the managerial career. But as John mentioned there, I was playing football all the time with him and his older friends on the streets in our estate, and it definitely did help in my career.
We should also play a clip here of Karen Duggan, your former teammate. She was speaking to Kathleen and Scarlett on the Coigig pod last week.
She essentially left two legacies, because even before she came back, she was a top pro for the team and was there doing the work before all the kind of high profile attention. She was part of the teams before the Liberty Hall, and then obviously she went travelling to Australia and came back, had her family, and just completely reignited the kind of feel-good factor, I think, around the team after the World Cup and the Vera Pauw stuff. And, she just I think she inspired a lot of people, not just because she was a mother, but because she came from our league, and you're kind of looking at her and the standards that she's able to reach while balancing motherhood and a husband and a really high profile job at Microsoft. Like, she's just someone that managers can now say, come on, lads, look what she can do. There's certain standards that she's set now that are going to be very, very hard for anyone else to reach, because, like I said, she's a superhuman.
Superhuman, Julia. Not a bad review.
Oh, stop. I'm emotional listening to that. Obviously, I'm very good friends with Karen, but to hear the words coming from her, and obviously she is very well thought of in the game and has very high standards, as we all know. So yeah, no, it's very grateful to hear that, and yeah, very proud.
There's obviously so many things that we can point to that are tangible, like the goals that you've scored, the caps that you have, and the awards that you've been given, but reigniting the feel-good factor, as Karen put it there, that's a real testament to a human being in a elite sporting setup. I mean, leaving aside all the things that we can count for 1 second, the fact that a former teammate of yours would say that to be kind of the face of the feel-good side of the Eileen Gleeson era, that must feel like a pretty big compliment as well, Julianne.
Yeah, it's massive. Like, I don't really even know how to respond to that. It's a real privilege. And look, I love being around people. I love sport. While I was returning back to the Ireland team, it was something that I never thought would happen. So maybe that added to it as well. Like, I played with no fear. And then obviously I think a massive contributing factor was having Rosie as well, and having her in the camp. Like, you'd walk in the door with her into the meals and whatnot, and she just brought such good energy. So that definitely helped. But then I suppose the performance as well added to it. So yeah, it's a massive honour to hear those words coming from Karen and coming from other people as well. And I'm just really proud.
I mean, it's surely too soon for Rosie to be retiring as mascot, official mascot of the team.
I don't know, yeah, she will want to give that up. So we'll definitely be at the game supporting her. There's no doubt she'll be running on the pitch to all her aunties.
That comeback in 2024, like, all your performances aside, that must have been such an amazing experience for you. Obviously, the fact that you get to experience it with your daughter is this unbelievably personal thing that you get to go through, and the whole country kind of experiences it with you. But also, given how much that team had kind of found its way into the public consciousness in the intervening, 4 or 5 years since you'd last been in a team, it's almost like that old phrase, there's a gap in your resume, what were you doing? And you come through the revolving door again, and it's like, wow. I presume anyway, Julianne, it's like, this place is a lot different to how I remember it. There's a bit more of a glare on me, and this is really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, chalk and cheese compared to when I was first in, and then obviously having that stint out. I was witnessing it from the outside, so I was seeing all the build-up and all the kind of coverage that the team was getting, and I was so proud and so happy for the girls. But I suppose then to experience it myself, then it was surreal. Like, it was incredible to see the progress, and it was just lovely, like, to experience it and to just enjoy it. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed every minute while I was in camp, and then outside of it as well, playing with Galway United, and it was just a really, really good time. So yeah, I'm really, really grateful.
Did you know that retirement might be in the offing at the end of last year, and did you think that maybe helped contribute to maybe experiencing it a bit more vividly and appreciating every minute a bit more when you were in the Ireland camp last year?
It was more towards the end of the year, before the last qualifier. I had spoken to my family saying that if we didn't qualify, it most likely that would be the end of the road for me, given my dream is to play at a major tournament, and realistically the next one is 2027, and I'm 33 now, going on 34. in relation to keeping it up, a full-time job, etc., as I mentioned earlier, probably isn't feasible. So much talent coming through, and they'll all probably be going professional. The likelihood of making that squad would have been slim. So that was kind of what I was thinking. If we didn't qualify, that would be it. Obviously, if we qualified, I would have done anything to be in the squad for the Euros. So that was my frame of thinking. But during the season, would say in the summer and whatnot, I wasn't really thinking about it.
It was obviously difficult for everybody to not have the opportunity to go and play in a European Championships this summer, but when you distill it down to those terms as your final opportunity to fulfil that dream of playing in a major tournament, how did you come to terms with the aftermath of that defeat to Wales?
I was heartbroken. It was in touch and distance, and as I mentioned, playing football for nearly 24 years with the Ireland team for 16, so that has always been a goal and my dream. So to be so close to it, it really, really was a tough pill to swallow.
Is it something that is helped by just being around your teammates, the people who are going through the same thing? Is it something that you outwardly talk about? Is it something that you still have to kind of come to terms with today, even, Julianne?
Yeah, I suppose it's been such a whirlwind even since then. And then I obviously am making this massive decision about stepping away completely. I probably haven't fully reflected completely, if I'm totally honest. Like, I'm sure in a couple of months it'll even hit me hard when the Euros are on and when I'm watching it. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. But with being with the team after the game and experience it, like, sport and football is cruel. There's highs and lows. So like, that's just life, and we just kind of have to get on with it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's true. At the same time, while we're reflecting on a brilliant 2024 and how, I guess publicly anyway, it felt like one of the high points of your career. Is it the high point and also the low point of your career in one collection of months, Julianne?
100%, yeah. It was incredible to play in the Viva in front of, like, I think there was maybe 25,000 there. Like, that was such a high point, and then such a low point then of losing and not qualifying. That was definitely the lowest point of my career to date. Is just, as I mentioned, so close, yet so far away.
This is going to be of absolutely no consolation to you, but the fact that people can feel those emotions about a team is, in one sense, a bit of a privilege. Like anybody who supported a county that's lost an All-Ireland final, it's a privilege to be there on All-Ireland final day. Somebody who's privileged enough to feel the heartbreak of a team not getting back to a major tournament, I guess, can feel a little bit privileged to have been in the World Cup in the previous major tournament. It's that thing about being lucky enough to be breathing the very thin air of high-performance sport. I presume it's still too soon to even get into that level of looking at it in that sort of philosophical sense. But I'm sure when it comes to the time where you step back a little bit and look at where this team has gone and what that moment actually represents for you, there might be little elements of positivity to it.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's a no.
Look, like, as a sports person, all you want to do is compete and be at the top level and win. So, like, as I mentioned, I'm heartbroken about it. We didn't perform. It's our own fault. You know, we can't blame other people for what happened. So, yeah, I'm sure I'll look back in time and see the positive side of things. But at the moment, I'm still heartbroken about it.
We've spoken about what you might have seen differently in 2020 and then coming back in 2024. we might go back to the start of your international career with Ireland. You make your senior debut in a World Cup qualifier away to Kazakhstan in 2009. You'd obviously represented Ireland at underage level. Do you remember much about this game, Julianne? Just reading up on it today, I think yourself and Stephanie Roach were making your first competitive appearances for Ireland. Certainly it was Stephanie's first competitive start for Ireland on that day. You come off the bench and assist her equaliser on the day. Can you tell us a little bit more about this, your first appearance for Ireland?
I do, yeah. I actually remember it vividly. I remember getting the call up from Noel King, and I think I was in first year in UL down in Limerick, and remember travelling over. It was mad over there. Had never been to Kazakhstan before and haven't been back yet. But yeah, I was just absolutely buzzing to be involved in the squad. Didn't think I would get any game time. But I remember I think it was half time I could have came on. And yeah, Steph was there, and I'd obviously played with Steph underage as well. So it was just buzzing to be on the pitch with her. And yeah, I think it came from a corner, the goal, and I took the corner and she scored from it. So yeah, it was unbelievable. I was only a kid at the time. So I've seen a lot since then, but yeah, it's always a memory that will stay with me.
The names of people on the team, it was a really, really excellent team. The likes of Emma Byrne in there, Ciara Grant in there, Katie Taylor was obviously playing in that team. Niamh Fahey, who you would have been playing underage Gaelic football with around that same time, was also playing in that team.
Yeah, those names that you called out there, like legends of the game. It was a very good team back then. And yeah, Niamh obviously is from Galway as well. She's just in the village over from me. So she's had an unbelievable career as well. I had the privilege of playing with her in Galway and then obviously with Ireland throughout the years. So yeah, we'll look back and of the fond memories, and always something that I'll cherish.
You said you were in first year in UL in 2009 when you make your debut. Do you remember, Julianne, how you expected your career footballing wise to go at that point in terms of your own expectations and goals?
I don't really, to be totally honest. I didn't think women's football would be where it is today, for sure. Always wanted it to keep growing, but it was hard to envisage it. Like, if I could go back, I'd love to be 18 now, because I probably would try and go professional. You can make a living out of it. At the time, you could have played professionally, but you'd be having a job as well on the side. So it wasn't something that I was super focused on. I was more focused on my education and on my career, like from a work perspective. So I didn't know how far I could get with playing football. I just had the kind of thought process of keep trying playing at the highest level for Ireland, and while also balancing it with my education and my working career.
Did you think it would have been possible in your career to play at the Aviva Stadium after, say, that debut in Kazakhstan?
Absolutely not. No. I think even women's sport back then, not just football, wasn't that big, and people didn't even know there was an Ireland team for women's football. So yeah, no, I definitely didn't envisage it at all. It's just come on. Well, it's only most likely the last couple of years as well that it's really come on. But yeah, no, it's class, and I'm proud to have been part of kind of both sides of it as well, of where we started and where we are now. And look, I think it's going to just keep exploding as well, which is great.
It's a fascinating time as well, and obviously it's been very well documented, the explosion in the sport over the last number of years. But I presume anyway that there's still a bit of progress that's yet to come. So if there was another version of Julianne Russell who was to, say, not play with Ireland for the next 4 years and go back in 4 years' time, what do you think she would like to see, or what do you think the progress will be in that period of time?
I would hope that the Women's National League in Ireland would go professional. I think our National League needs to become more of a professional environment. Look, since it's come in, it keeps getting better year on year, the standard, etc. But we're not there yet. We're nowhere near the WSL or the Championship in England, and we need to aspire to that to keep folks in the league. So that's what I'd love to see, and then I'd love to see us playing in the Viva for every game and getting 30,000-40,000 people at the games. So I will be super happy when I do see that. I really truly believe that it will. As I mentioned, women's football around the world has really exploded, and long may it continue.
Did you feel a sense of being something of a trailblazer for the domestic league when you're scoring against France and you're scoring against England last year?
At the time, no, I was just playing and delighted and just going day by day. Like, it was just so surreal. I wasn't really reflecting on anything, and I was a million miles an hour trying to balance it all. Now, when I look back, it's like that was class for the league, because since that I've had so many people come up to me or message me being like, I believe now that I can make the team, or managers saying like the belief now is in the players to, if they put the work in, they will be rewarded. So it's lovely to hear that. And I'm super proud that I was able to kind of give that visibility to the league.
Around that time, and I think it was before the cup final last year, Ciarán Kilduff was saying that the greatest moment for the league was seeing yourself playing in this country and then going on to play at international level. He's always been very insistent that the women's game here shouldn't make the same mistake as the men's game, i.e. being so dependent on a different country to produce the top level talent. How do you bridge that gap, Julianne, from having experienced it both here and abroad?
I think because abroad they're fully professional. They have so much contact time on the ball. They're doing their strength conditioning, while in Ireland people are doing that and balancing either education or work. And as I experienced myself, it's not easy. Like, it's tough. The dedication is sick. Like, my recovery, wasn't as good as a professional because I just wasn't able to. I was training in the evenings, wasn't back till super late at night, then I was up super early and throughout the night because of Rosie. So like, it's not sustainable. So until the league, from a women's side point of view, goes fully professional, it's hard to bridge that gap.
Did you notice a performance difference, maybe in training, or maybe an inability to be able to dedicate 100% of your time to the camp at Ireland level when you were in there recently? Because like, it's something obviously that you've spoken about yourself here, and your performances on the pitch were so good. We can sometimes forget that actually what you had to overcome to get to that place. I mean, having to work a job or whatever the case may have been, and everything else going on in your life. The people who were able to fully dedicate themselves professionally to the sport, how big a setback is it, or how big an advantage is it for them, I guess, when you see them up close and personal in Ireland training?
It is an advantage, and they'll say that themselves, and that's the route they chose, was to become fully professional. So like, I have no qualms about that. Like, I chose to stay in Ireland and whatnot, but like, it does make a difference. Like, we see the improvement when folks go fully pro, like in terms of their fitness, their strength and conditioning, their ball speed, etc. So it's a massive difference, and hopefully we'll see it in the League of Ireland.
It would be absolutely fantastic. It's obviously a changing of the guard in the Republic of Ireland setup at the moment. You're one of a number of retirements. There's been a managerial change. Carla Ward has come into the setup. Her first game is a couple of weeks in the future at this point. So I think the hopes are really, really high for Carla Ward to come in and do a really good job as Republic of Ireland manager, and it's seen as something of a coup. Your experience with the Republic of Ireland of late has been under Eileen Gleeson. Just can you describe to us, now that the chapter has closed, just how much you enjoyed that setup, the whole coaching team, and what an experience that was for the players working under Eileen Gleeson?
Yeah, I'll be forever grateful to Eileen for taking a chance on me and bringing me back. I'm sure when she first named me, there was a lot of question marks over that. So I was so grateful to get back in and then to repay her as well with the performances. The environment that she created was one of the best environments I've ever been in. The team was so close. The staff that she put together, from coaches to backroom staff to administrators, you name it, it was incredible. So I'm so grateful to have been part of that. And I think what she's built from there, that Carla's coming into, will be successful, no doubt. I spoke to Carla to give her to explain to her that I was going to be stepping back, and she seems like such a lovely human. I never spoke to her previously before, and I just got a really good sense from her. I've heard some really good things as well. Obviously, she's had a very successful club career to date, and this is her first international gig, but she's already had the experience with the US national team, being over at the Olympics. So that's incredible. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what she's going to do with the team. I have the utmost faith that she'll be successful as well. So yeah, super excited to just watch from the sidelines, and I'll be their number one supporter.
Your dog is a big Carla Ward fan as well. Completely agrees with everything that you're saying, I believe, on Carla Ward. Just on Eileen then, what's the, it's not your decision, obviously, and we'll see how things play out, but just from your own experience having been coached by her, what would be the best version of Eileen Gleeson within Irish football? Because it seems that she was doing such a good job in a directorial role. She's clearly done a good job when you speak to players like yourself who've worked under her as in a coaching role. How do you utilise Eileen Gleeson in terms of the information that she has and the experience that she has for the betterment of Irish football?
Yeah, Eileen has so much experience in women's football, in particular in Ireland as well. So it would be an absolute shame and a waste for her to kind of move abroad or to be left out of women's football in Ireland. Ultimately it depends on what she wants to do, because I think whatever job she has, she needs to be fully bought in and fully wanting to be doing that. So I don't know whether that's in a coaching or management point of view, or from a director building women's football from grassroots level up. I honestly don't know, but I think that it's super important that Eileen stays in football and stays in the women's side. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Julia, before I let you go, I must ask, what's going to keep the competitive bug going in your life now? You've spoken about doing CrossFit quite a bit before you came back to the international setup. You've obviously run an unbelievable time in the marathon, not long after having Rosie, I believe. So what is the next thing that is going to keep the competitor alive?
Yeah, that will never die. I'm actually going to do the Barcelona Marathon in March,
right,
on Paddy's weekend. So I'm in the middle of training for that. I'm halfway through a training plan there. So that's at the moment. And I'm actually also playing a bit of basketball for my Cullen, for where I'm from. So it's super chilled, nothing too much. But I actually love it. So yeah, I'm off to basketball training this evening now after work.
My Cullen are pretty good in basketball, so I wouldn't be surprised if that turns into another elite level career.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, geez, best of luck with everything, Julianne. It's been a pleasure chatting to you. I'm sure we'll catch up again over the next few months. But congratulations on a brilliant career, and hopefully Rosie can be mascot for your next team, whatever that may be.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure.
Cheers. Julianne Russell there on the line. We'll take a quick break.
Football on Off the Ball.
With William Hill, you can boost your winnings on every game with new Bet Builder Extra. Only with William Hill. Download the app today. 18 plus gamblingcare.ie.
This is News Talk.